the introduction tonight. First for Doug Moe. This place will come down. And also, Dan Issel, this is the first appearance he's making in Denver since it was announced that he was voted to the Basketball Hall of Fame. Great honor for the horse. The lights are low. We are waiting for the introductions of the lineup. Around the rest of the nation, they are seeing this game on TNT. And this is the first exposure for the Nuggets. And that's a little bit of an example of what we are used to on the left. That's the before. And the after on the right. Doug going to Philadelphia, I think it was part of his contract that he had to really clean up the act if he wanted to take his work to the East Coast. Now the introductions, and we are waiting to the introduction after the 76ers players. And Doug Moe, the reaction here. And even the team gets a little bit of a hand. There'll be some Sixer fans, at least during the introduction. But once the game starts, you know where the allegiance will be.
7-7 from Bridgeport, number 11, Manute Bol. At guard, 6'2 from Duke, number 12, Johnny Dawkins. At center, 6'11 from NC State, number 17, Charles Shackelford. At forward, 6'9 from UNLV, number 35, Armand Gilliam. At forward, 6'10 from Gardner-Webb, number 45, Eddie Lee Wilkins. And now tonight's starters for the 76ers at forward, 6'7 from South Mississippi, number 30, Clarence Weatherspoon. At forward, 6'9 from Temple, number 23, Tim Perry. At center, 6'11 from Arkansas, number 28, Andrew Lang. At guard, 6'4 from Iowa State, number 14, Jeff Hornacek. And at guard, 6'3 from Bradley, number 33, Hersey Hawkins. The Sixers trainer is Mike Abdenor, assistant coaches Fred Carter, Tony DeLeo, and David Moe. And the head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers, welcome back, Doug Moe. Introducing the starting lineup for your Denver Nuggets. At guard, 6'1 from LSU, number 3, Chris Jackson. At guard, 6'8 from Illinois, number 30, Marcus Liberty. At forward, 6'7 from Georgetown, number 34, Reggie Williams. At forward, 6'8 from Notre Dame, number 20, LaFonso Ellis. And at center, 7'2 from Georgetown, number 55, Dikembe Mutombo, Philando Makamba, Jean-Jacques Wamutombo. The Nuggets trainers, Jim Gillen, assistant coaches, Mike Evans and Gene Little. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me and the Nuggets organization in wishing head coach Dan Issel the 5th leading scorer in professional basketball history. Congratulations on his recent and deserving election to the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. The horse will be inducted in the Hall of Fame on May 10th in Springfield, Massachusetts. Congratulations, head coach of the Denver Nuggets, the horse, of course, Dan Issel.
And a standing ovation for the horse. You know, here's Doug Moe, 14 years as a coach. Dan coaches 46 games. He gets into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, there's no justice, is there?
We are just about set. You know, this is a big one for Dan going up against Doug. And, Dave, let's take a look at the keys of tonight's game, brought to you by your neighborhood Colorado Pontiac dealers.
Well, I think it's going to be an interesting game again for the Nuggets for a couple of reasons. One, you don't want to overlook this team. We talked a little bit about it. The Nuggets have won 8 straight games at home. The Sixers have lost 7 of 8, and yet the Nuggets not good enough yet to completely overlook anybody. They also have to contain the guards of Philadelphia. Both guards, Hornacek and Hawkins, averaging over 20 points per game, as we talked about, an excellent spot-up shooter in Hornacek and a guy in Hawkins that does a little bit of everything quite well. And the pace of the game, I think the Nuggets will like, because obviously with Doug Moe coaching Philadelphia, they will push the basketball back at the Nuggets. So we're hoping to see, and probably will, a very fast-paced, high-energy game here tonight.
And this may be one incident in which Doug Moe doesn't want to play a fast-paced, high charged up game, because he feels that Dan Issel now has the material to do it, especially on the home floor. And he has a team that's lost 5 in a row. They're on a road trip where they'll play 10 of the next 12. They're in Dallas tomorrow night, and you know, Doug's concerned about that one, but that could just be Doug Moe, as Dave had indicated, posturing for this one. The officials for tonight's game: Woody Mayfield will take care of the opening tip. Lee Jones and Dick Bavetta, as you take a look at the matchups for tonight's game. Mutombo will step in against Andrew Lang, who's had great success against the Nuggets in a Phoenix uniform, and Denver has the ball. Nuggets lost in LA the other night. It wasn't overconfidence coming off of the Seattle game. They just had no legs going into that one. A real tired bunch. And you know, in that Los Angeles game, Nuggets were always in it, but they could just never take it.
They never got over the hump. That you never felt they were in a position really to dictate the pace of the game. And I think you're right.
Witherspoon slapped away by Liberty. There is a diving Mutombo, and he is either out of bounds with it, or they call it travel. Almost in the lap of Doug Moe, who this year has been very calm on the bench. I think he just realizes at this point he just doesn't have the horses, and figures he can't beat a team that just doesn't have the players. Although I think they have the players, and we'll talk about that as this one goes on. No score so far. 40 seconds in. Liberty working on the smaller Hornacek. Mutombo is pushed, but Philadelphia comes back the other way. At 117 and lost 28. Just a half game into the Nuggets record. There's a travel by Andrew Lang. The Nuggets are 18 and 28. Here are two teams, Dave, essentially the same record. The Nuggets and the whole city on a high. Philadelphia and the whole city on a downer.
Yeah, Philadelphia's waiting for the Eagles season to start. They have not been over appreciative of what has happened with the Sixers.
Reggie Williams and the Nuggets start ice cold, just what we saw in Los Angeles. Denver got their shots in LA. Dan Issel knows that. 104 shots, 27 more than the Lakers, but they only made 42 of those. And they start off a little cold here tonight. Tim Curry. Curry also coming over with 22nd Lang in the Charles Barkley deal. Referees say it is Denver ball.
Tim Perry is one of the best jumpers in the league, but he goes up very nonchalantly here, and LaFonso Ellis puts it right back in his hand.
Chris Jackson, a man of many moves. Liberty straight down the lane, and that is the first basket of the game. We have played a minute and a half before the first hoop. Marcus Liberty in his 11th straight start in the absence of Mark Macon, who the Nuggets now look to return right after the All-Star game. Hornacek.
That's what we were talking about, spot-up shooter, although Hornacek dribbled a couple of times, that time off a good pick by Lang. Gets a nice look from 15 feet.
Mutombo with the left hand, and he is fouled. Dikembe Mutombo gaining more and more confidence each night out with his moves in the lane.
Well, the first time we saw him start to spin back to his right, at least the first time I can remember, was down in San Antonio. And although he didn't make a lot of shots, he looked like he developed some confidence in that move. And that's against a very physical player in Andrew Lang. He got the body into Lang and able to get the shot off the glass.
Lang 6'11" and 250 pounds. He's about 3 inches smaller than Mutombo, but he outweighs him by about 5 pounds. 3-point play for Dikembe. Here is Weatherspoon, who they are calling Baby Barkley, at 6'6" and 240 pounds. Sixers are now listing him at 6'7". He's grown an inch this year. Weatherspoon makes the move over Liberty, and there is Lang retrieving it. We're 2 minutes and 10 seconds into the ball game. Nuggets back home to Fahrenheit against Washington. Hawkins squirts in.
Now, Hersey Hawkins, not only a very good perimeter shooter, but a guy that can take it strong to the basket. That time Mutombo showed, but not enough to really stop the momentum of Hawkins to the baseline.
Nuggets lead it 5-4. Tim Perry all over Ellis. Jackson swoops to the hoop and gets his first of the night. Chris Jackson, and quickly back the other way. It's Philadelphia. Twisting jump, count it, and he is fouled. Hornacek, who shows he could shoot from any end.
Time with CJ, because quickness-wise, Jackson with the edge.
Hornacek, who you have to feel is a perfect fit for Doug Moe's motion offense. He's going to get a lot of open shots, and really one of the fine shooters in the NBA. He's averaging 20 points a game. Last year led the Suns in scoring, won them in 5 different categories. 10 seconds to shoot. Reggie Williams. Mutombo goes to work on Lang. Mutombo takes it even further for the little hook that also has been going in. Tries to stop. Slapped away by Liberty. Liberty and Jackson fire out for the Nuggets. Can he save it? Yes. Chris Jackson, that fingertip control.
Hey, 2 years ago, he doesn't save that one.
Wasn't near that. Nuggets have 10 seconds now to shoot. Ellis being wrapped up by Perry. He bodies in. The whistle and the foul against Perry, and that is sizing up as a nice matchup right there. Perry coming out tonight knowing that his assignment is to stop LaFonso Ellis. Doug Moe, great respect for the Nugget rookie, and he wants Perry to give him some extra attention. Perry now picking up Williams. Reggie Williams was a red-hot player, but not in Los Angeles. 5 of 15 from the floor. Who's a very effective three-point shooter. Lang, Hornacek, a gimme. It is the Jeff Hornacek show early in the first quarter. He has 7 of the 9 points to the Sixers. Hornacek last year with Phoenix averaged 26 a game against the Nuggets. Williams looking for the touch. Chris Jackson getting in the way of Weatherspoon. Jackson says, I didn't touch it, so it's last touch by Philadelphia. Now Dick Bavetta overruling Lee Jones and said, yes, indeed, Jackson did nick it.
Well, Philadelphia again off the miss, tries to get the home run. Very tough to see there. Certainly Weatherspoon touched it, but the Sixers had the ball.
What wasn't tough to see is how high Chris Jackson could get off the floor. All tied at 9. 7 minutes 39 to go in this first quarter. Williams off a screen of Ellis. Liberty guarded by Hornacek. In low to Ellis. Double fake.
At no match. Weatherspoon unable physically to stop Ellis on the switch, pinning all the way underneath the basket.
Hawkins with a scoop, and there is Ellis. Nuggets could bust out. Looping pass to Liberty. He has Ellis. He finds him. But so did Hornacek. Foul number 1 on Jeff Hornacek.
Marcus Liberty with a nice decision here as he dumps the ball to Ellis. And LaFonso is going to throw this one down left-handed. Jeff Hornacek over the top and on the wrist. And the Nuggets able to get out on Sixer misses and really generate a fast break early. And that has to please Dan Issel.
LaFonso Ellis will get a pair. He's averaging 14 points, 9 rebounds per ball game. There are his shooting percentages, and he wants to get over the 50% mark before this season is out. He shot 63% at Notre Dame. All of that came inside. A little muscle inserted by Doug Moe. Armin Gilliam replaces Clarence Weatherspoon. Gilliam, who you would think is low post game, one-on-one, not fitting in with the Doug Moe system, although he says, hey, I'm from UNLV, the running Rebels. That's my game. But you know what? So far, doesn't look it. I don't really think we'll see Armin Gilliam in a Sixer uniform next year. 13-9, the Nuggets lead it by 4. It's been a close game. This is the Nuggets' biggest lead, 5 minutes in. Most of the misses by the Denver Nuggets so far in this first quarter off the fingertips of Reggie Williams. Hornacek has missed nothing.
Tough shot running off the left foot.
Putting on a show, Jeff Hornacek with 9 of the 11 for the Sixers. He recently missed a game because of a sore knee. That's in the territory of Ellis. You know he's going to get it. Dishes it off to it.
Boy, great look by LaFonso Ellis and Marcus Liberty, who's been extremely active when he's had a chance to start the last few games. Hard to the basket.
4-point lead again for the Nuggets. 6:20, and overreaching is Marcus Liberty, and he has his first personal foul. And as that is signaled, the players go to their Philadelphia 76ers. Tonight's game is being brought to you in part by your neighborhood Colorado Pontiac dealers. Philadelphia 76ers coming out with a concerted effort, and the Nuggets will try to wear them down. In rehab as we speak is Mark Macon, working on that right wrist that was sprained. He has missed the last 10 games, and he is telling the folks out here that he is planning to be back now after the All-Star break. The cast has been removed, examined. He has a slight tear in there in the wrist, but he has 2 weeks now for it to heal up. Nuggets going very well. Looking forward to getting Macon back in the lineup. But right now, one guy I don't think is looking forward to it, Marcus Liberty, who is getting the start and playing better and better. Let's send it to Drew Goodman.
Very much. As you are probably aware, Doug Moe still has a home here, so this was a pretty easy road trip in terms of the last couple of nights. He got to spend it at home and spent much of the afternoon here commiserating with old friends. But, you know, Al, I'm looking at him, and you know, the nice suits, it just doesn't fit, does it?
A little out of place tonight, on the wrong bench, dressed up, hair coiffed. You know, you didn't know him better, you wouldn't know that was really him. Tommy Hammonds has checked in for the Nuggets. 4 games in a Denver uniform. He's been averaging 10 points per ball game. Mutombo backing in on Lang, would love to get him a second foul. Nice move to fake him out, and it's off of the Sixers and out of bounds.
But you can make a move like this once you start to hit that jump hook. And Dikembe has hit the hook in the game. Lang up in the air. Nice play there by Weatherspoon to save the basket.
A prediction tonight. A prediction tonight. Dan gets a tee from Dick Clavette. He has been working Dick from the start. 6 minutes to go. Williams tries again. Reggie Williams now 0 for 4. Jackson, Ellis is there. And Dennis, who wants the foul there, doesn't get it. Hornacek, the man with the hot hand, keeping Philadelphia in it right now. Andrew Lang gets it into the hands of Hornacek. Armin Gilliam over Ellis. Swish. Armin Gilliam is averaging 13 a game, but he has been taken out of the starting lineup. Coming off the bench, but Doug Moe wants his muscle now to bang with Ellis. He tried the quicker defender and Tim Perry, but he wants to keep Ellis away from the hoop. Jackson flicks the wrist. And there is Perry with a rebound. The Sixers have to tie it. For the basket, or is it the foul? Percy Hawkins, a pinpoint pass from Hornacek. It is a foul.
Well, Philadelphia again able to get out. Hawkins that time released. The foul there by Ellis. And the Sixers have really done a nice job running off misses. Chris Jackson 1 of 4. That shot off, and the Sixers are off to the races.
Hornacek has taken over tonight, but it's Hawkins who has been the real hot man for Philadelphia. 25 in their game the other night against Houston. The preceding game, he had 26 points against the Knicks. He's averaging 21 per ball game. He is the leading scorer for Philadelphia and an 83% foul shooter. He has 4 points tonight, and he knocks it up at 15. 4:50 left in the first quarter. The Nuggets trying to make it 9 in a row at home. Hammond, the right place at the right time. Ellis wants it. One-on-one against Gilliam. Jackson for 2. Nuggets are getting their shots. Ellis from 20. Push.
Well, you just cannot underestimate what it means to LaFonso Ellis' game to be able to have that kind of arsenal from 15 feet. A very good shooter.
6 points for LaFonso Ellis to start it. In this first quarter, he's the Nuggets high man. Hornacek. Nuggets to start building an advantage. They can work in part of their bench. 76ers really have no scoring coming off their bench. Ron Anderson, the guy who is explosive offensively, is out with a bruised left hand. Now Robert Pack will try to up the intensity as he replaces Chris Jackson. Jackson leaves with a couple of points. Chris has missed 4 of 5. And Manute Bol, all 7'7". And the crowd calling out his name. He replaces Andrew Lang. And it's Manute Bol from Sudan against Dikembe Mutombo from Zaire in the middle. Mutombo gives away 5 inches. But had enough inches there to reject that shot. Johnny Dawkins with the left hand. And Mutombo rips it down. 3:50 left in the first. Nuggets cling to a 2-point lead over a determined 76er club trying to take this game for their coach. They know how much this must mean for Doug Moe. Ellis flying in.
Nice pick and roll that time. Good pass from Reggie Williams as he puts it right in position for LaFonso to take it in rhythm to the basket.
That's 8 now for Ellis. Nuggets by 4. Manute Bol, that's where Doug wants him on the offense, around the midcourt line. Hawkins got it. Hawkins with the great arsenal from the outside. Manute Bol did not play the last game. Mutombo can't get it by Bol, but Bol is hit with a foul. Mutombo is trying to bowl him over.
I tell you, there are a few guys, though, that will make Dikembe Mutombo think twice about throwing one down with the right hand. And Dikembe is way in the air. Look at Manute Bol on the wrist. Ball skirts out of bounds.
And he didn't even jump.
He hardly ever does it. I mean, it's an amazing phenomenon to see a guy that big.
7'7", 225 pounds, and I think he's gained about 25 pounds since he's come in the league. You know, he was inserted in the starting lineup earlier in the season, and the Sixers went on a nice little stretch, but after a while, Doug Moe felt he had to go with a smaller club. Any team without Manute Bol is a smaller club. Every year he has been in the league, he has had more block shots than points scored. This year is not the same. He has 81 points and 80 block shots. To give you an example, last year he had 205 block shots and 110 points. Mutombo whisks it away, and now the Nuggets on the break. Here is Hammond sliding on the baseline, and that was an altered shot by Bol. Here's Dawkins on the fly. Sets up Gilliam. And Gilliam, 2 shots from 15 and 2 hoops.
And you have to be aware as to where Manute Bol is. That time Tom Hammonds wanted to take it strong in the basket. You're just not going to be able to throw it down over Bol.
It started strong. It did not end up that way. 21-19, Nuggets by 2. Al Albert along with Dave Logan and Drew Goodman. McNichols wearing a big crowd on hand to watch the Nuggets. And the 76ers, Ellis, and he gets that over Bol. Off by LaFonso Ellis, and Bol was actually pinned in under the basket by his own man. That's double figures for LaFonso in the first quarter. 4-point lead for the Nuggets. Weatherspoon, no. Again, it's gobbled in by Mutombo. He has 5 rebounds in the first quarter, on course for a 20-rebound game. Drills it from the outside. And
talking about developing his game, if Pat can hit that shot consistently, he's going to be very difficult.
That'll be on Ellis. The crowd moans, but it was Ellis who was moving in to try to cut off the drive. So LaFonso gets his second personal foul. Timeout at McNichols. Foul. Dan Issel will be making some changes. The Nuggets have a 6-point lead despite their poor shooting. 76ers shooting even poorer than that, and consider the fact that Hornacek has hit 4 of his 6. So everybody else has gone 4 of 15. But the Nuggets commanding the boards by 1, that is. Mutombo and Ellis each have 5 rebounds. Meanwhile, Armin Gilliam goes to the foul line. The Nuggets now have a lineup of Pack and Bryant Stiff. checks in for the first time tonight. That's the backcourt. Mutombo remains in the middle with Hammonds and Plummer up front. The addition of Hammonds, Dave, gives Dan Issel right now the chance of using a Hammonds and Plummer at the same time. And the resting LaFonso Ellis without losing too much.
Gives them added depth, and that's what you look for. Guys to come off the bench and continue the play that you've already established.
Nuggets can give LaFonso that 2-3 minute breather. Some pushing and shoving, and Gilliam has the ball. 25-21, the Nuggets by 4. Here is Johnny Dawkins, finds Hawkins. Mutombo may have touched it on the rim, but play continues. Directing traffic is Stiff. And it's foul number 2 on Bol. Flying in again was Tommy Hammonds. And Tommy Hammonds really loving his opportunities here on the offensive break.
Either that or he's a very slow learner. Hammonds is going to throw this down again. And you can see not much contact there. Bol gets a hand on this basketball. And Hammonds, a terrific jumper. I don't know about that call.
And Bol will agree with you. Hammonds with a couple of shots. First point for Hammonds tonight. Manute Bol. His career high of block shots in one game, and he's done it twice. 15. Is that the NBA record? Well, it's 2 off. Elmore Smith once blocked 17 shots in one ball game. Pack from behind almost picks the pocket of Gilliam. 1:11 left in the first quarter. Nuggets again by 6. Crowd wants Bol to put it up. The 2 years he spent in Golden State, that became a pet shot for him. Hammonds steps in front of Weatherspoon, who's been taken out of this one. He has been unnoticed so far. Pack on the fly, and Bol again changed that shot. He had to get it over Manute Bol, who didn't block it, but that was even better because it resulted in a turnover and a foul on Pack.
The teams, when they play the Sixers and Manute is in the game, pretty much have to resign themselves to being a perimeter team. Unless you just beat him down the court on the break. Pack took one there, but gets called for the foul.
And you know, tonight the Nuggets so far in this first quarter are not a perimeter team. They tried earlier, but the Williams is 0 for 4. Jackson 1 for 5. Bol making his presence felt even with the fewer minutes he plays this year. He only plays 20 minutes a game, but he is ranked right there behind Manute Bol. Gilliam the foul shot. So Gilliam, who Doug Moe has sent to the bench, now comes off the bench tonight, and he has been scoring 7 points for Gilliam. Plummer goes to work and is called for traveling and makes the nicest shot of the game. Unfortunately, it won't count. 27-22. Johnny Dawkins, first-round draft pick out of Duke, but had reconstructive knee surgery 2 years ago and just has never been the same. The quickness, the explosiveness. And there's the first basket by Clarence Weatherspoon, who's been averaging 15 points a game as a rookie. A guy that the Nuggets actually looked at for either the 5th spot or the 13th. And he happened to go in the middle at number 9 to Philadelphia. Last shot for the Nuggets. They have 7 of those seconds to shoot. Pack again drives it inside. It leaves Philadelphia with 5 seconds. The outlet finally made. Hawkins to Dawkins. Gets it off. And that ends the first period of play. Doug Moe on the visitors bench as he comes to the former silver anniversary member of the Nuggets, Michael Adams, Washington Bullets, in town tomorrow night. And Michael is here to take this one in. The Bullets in town early. Michael Adams, one of the Nuggets all-time greats, and just mixing with the crowd tonight. Tomorrow he will be in the spotlight with his Bullets. There's the shooting percentages so far in this ball game. Both teams trying to find the basket and the leading scorers. Dawkins, and now Hornacek is back in, and he has been the hot man. 4 of 6. Scott Hastings checks in for the Nuggets. Mutombo gets his first rest of the night. He had 7 points and 5 rebounds in the first half. Bryant Stith with Robert Pack, Plummer, Hastings, and Hammonds.
By Tom Hammonds, for a guy that has bounced around with a couple of teams, certainly has come in and quickly established his confidence level. Usually guys are not that quick to get it done.
Hornacek off the bench remains hot. 11 points now for Hornacek. 29-26, the Nuggets by 3. Denver looking for their 19th win of the season. They won 24 all last year, 20 the year before. Hammonds can't drill it, and now it's Dawkins on the run. Switching hands on the dribble, pushing off on Robert Pack. Andrew Lang now in the middle. Tim Perry up front with Clarence Weatherspoon. Hornacek and Dawkins in the backcourt. This is the 3. And it's punched out of bounds. Last touch by the 76ers. You're taking a look at two teams, the young Nuggets club, who has really grasped the system of Dan Issel, which is the system of Doug Moe. But Doug Moe's team has not to this point. They have really struggled with the passing game. In it goes, and muscling for some room is Brian Stith.
And Stith gets called for the offensive foul, tried to post up Johnny Dawkins. The pass by Robert Pack actually takes Stith backwards, Hornacek. And that's a call where a veteran gets the call instead of a guy who's not played much.
Doug Moe getting a first-hand look at Brian Stith and Alfonso Ellis. This will count if it goes, but it doesn't. And the push-off by Gary Plummer. I think if you watch the Nuggets and you were told there were 2 rookies in the lineup, you would never be able to pick out the rookies.
Yeah, they both really have done a nice job of adjusting themselves to the pro game. I mean, it's amazing that you find one guy that can do that, much less 2.
Great maturity of these 2 players, and considering what Chris Jackson went through the last couple of years, Nuggets really have 3 first-round draft picks this year. Jackson, who was the 3rd pick, made by Doug Moe. Doug has taken some heat for that pick the last couple of years, and now saying, hey, you stiffs, why'd you ever doubt me? One more shot for Perry.
It'll be interesting to see now if Chris Jackson can kind of get his offense going in the second quarter. 1 of 5 from the field so far.
Nuggets maintain the 1-point lead, and they've got essentially nothing from Reggie Williams and Chris Jackson combined. They're 1 of 9 from the field, and they'll try it again now because they're both on the floor, along with Hastings, Plummer, and Hammonds. Cutting it off from behind, coming from nowhere, Tim Perry. Now the fast break. Sixers could take the lead. Perry stopped by Hastings. And in the crowd, it's Hammonds who gets the rebound. Finds Chris Jackson. Jackson with the look. Alfonso Ellis getting ready to come back in for the Nuggets with the 2 personal fouls. We're 2 minutes into the second quarter. Plummer on the switch against the smaller Hornacek.
That's a case where you have to be patient, realize Hornacek's on you, and try to power him to the basket instead of shooting a fadeaway 10-foot shot.
The throwaway by Johnny Dawkins, and Doug Moe very calm and collected. After a play like that, you could have seen him hitting the roof earlier in his career. This is 15th season as a head coach, 626 wins for Doug Moe, 520 losses. The Sixers with those turnovers, Nuggets on the other end with the 6 turnovers. Chris Jackson all the way through. The Nuggets lead at 31-28. Dawkins back the other way. Hastings, he has Williams, but can't get it out there. Hastings couldn't reach all the way back. He had a 6er there. Clarence Weatherspoon, no foul, but they say it was Weatherspoon who tossed it out of bounds.
I'll tell you why. The ball was slipping out of Weatherspoon's hand before the contact. Hornacek thought about a 3-pointer. Now watch when the ball leaves Weatherspoon's hand. Well, actually, the contact almost the same time the ball came out of his hand.
Yeah, Hastings was not under the basket. Nuggets wanted the foul on Weatherspoon. Hammonds, fade away, swish. Tom Hammonds, who says he hasn't had as much fun since he played for Georgia Tech when he was All-American. And there is Hammonds sweeping the boards. Hammonds is actually on the depth chart, if you could call that. Moved ahead of Gary Plummer. Reggie Williams continues to struggle. 5 shots, no hoops. 33-28 Denver. Nice make by Dawkins. Still Hornacek, who is on fire.
Johnny Dawkins can create so much off the dribble, and Hornacek gets right in the proper spot.
Williams with the save. Darting inside Jackson. To Hammonds, who draws the foul. Chris Jackson dishing it off. He had 8 assists and some beautiful ones against Los Angeles the other night, and he knows where his guys are.
And really, this is the kind of play we didn't see in the first 2 years. Once Jackson got in the paint, he would shoot the shot even if it wasn't there. This time, the look to Hammonds on the baseline and 2 free throws.
Hammonds another opportunity tonight to quickly get into double figures, averaging 10 a game. He already has 7 in the first half. Hammonds, Mutombo with 7. Ellis has 10. Let's go to Drew Goodman. Drew?
Dan Issel not at all pleased with how his offense was running, and if you watch the last few possessions, you can see why. A footnote, I figured out where Doug Moe's wardrobe went. We have to get a shot of David Moe. I think he's got the hand-me-down. Al?
Drew Goodman is on that Doug Moe case here tonight. I don't know. Doug's supposed to show up for the Dan Issel show, hosted by Drew Goodman, following the night's broadcast right here on Fox Sports. I hope Doug does not tune into this broadcast. From the outside, it is Armand Gilliam, who now has 9. And he has been keeping the Sixers in this 2-point lead. You know, the 3 guys who came over from Phoenix, remember, Gilliam was a first-round draft pick by the Phoenix Suns, so it's a Phoenix Suns East. Ellis, no, he fights for the rebound, gathers it in, and not great hands for Tim Perry, cannot hold on.
Boy, great hands by LaFonso Ellis. We've seen that so many times early this season. Once he gets his hands on a basketball, you don't see guys slap it away from him. You don't see him drop it. Tremendously strong hands.
Tom Hammonds gets a nice hand, really being recognized quickly by the Nugget fans. Jackson gets the rest. Quick. 6 now for Jackson. He's getting his shooting eye back. Denver leads it by 4. Hornacek now being shadowed by Reggie Williams. Nuggets have to find a way to stop him. Weatherspoon gets in the way, but he is whistled down by the referee, Woody Mayfield. Pleading his case, Dikembe Mutombo gets number 1.
Well, this is good weak side help. The lob over Liberty. Weatherspoon strong, and you can see Mutombo at the top gets a lot of basketball. And we have seen 2 very good blocks tonight. Both have been called for fouls. Manute Bol and Dikembe Mutombo.
Weatherspoon, a rookie. What do they say about Doug Moe? Doesn't like to play rookies. He says, well, I'll play rookies who are good.
Yeah.
He's the only 76er who has started every game this year.
Unless the rookie gets 15 points a game, and then you'll play him.
36-33 Denver. Marcus Liberty back in. Nuggets have reunited the starting 5. Another one for Williams. And another miss. One of those nights for Reggie. Hornacek. But Mutombo gets back. Ripped away by Ellis. The Nuggets busting out. Ellis, beautiful pass to Liberty. Ellis banging. And that missed shot by Liberty cost LaFonso Ellis his 3rd foul. Number 3 on LaFonso Ellis. And we have a timeout taken here at McNichols Arena. The Nuggets, though, hold on to the lead by 3.
So important, you have to finish. And Liberty's finger roll is short. Ellis over the top with his 3rd foul. You get your best player of the night in foul trouble because you don't finish a break.
Checking out the action update, the shooting on both sides, not particularly warm. Big first half for Hornacek, who has the 13 points, and LaFonso Ellis now goes to the bench with his 3rd foul, leads the Nuggets with 10. And that's the Milk action update. Here in the 2nd quarter, 7:15 to go. And Philadelphia, not a very good rebounding team, and they are actually out-rebounding the Nuggets by 1 tonight. Gilliam playing with Mutombo. Mutombo could not get the block shot. And Armand Gilliam is another big man for the Sixers tonight. He has 11. The Nuggets lead is now 1. And they'll have to go the rest of this first half without LaFonso Ellis. Really came charged out to this ball game. Gary Plummer inserted alongside of Dikembe Mutombo. The Nuggets' 3-game win streak was snapped in Los Angeles the other night, and they're now trying to make it 9 straight at home. Chris Jackson, no. 76ers a chance to take the lead. Here's Hawkins spinning Williams around. It would have counted, I think. They call the foul on Williams. but that's immaterial since he missed. Although from here it looked like after the bump he put the ball. No, he didn't put the ball down. The basket would have counted a continuation.
Well, they're not going to give him shots, though, so I think Dick Bavetta said before the shot.
Bryant Stith in. A rest for Reggie Williams trying to find his shot. He has been really one of the sizzling shooters for the Nuggets of late, but 5 of 15 against LA, 0 of 6 tonight. And a man who cannot miss, Jeff Hornacek.
Set play for Hornacek, the skip pass, and Stith gets rubbed off on the baseline pick. Just enough time for Hornacek to get a good look.
Philadelphia with the 1-point lead. 6 minutes, 10 seconds left. And the throwaway by Bryant Stith. And Dan Issel doing a slow burn on the Nuggets bench.
And Hornacek just mentioned or motioned to Doug Moe, run play number 5, and I would imagine this is going to be Hornacek again on a baseline pick.
He has hit 7 of 10 from the field. Hornacek, who killed the Nuggets from position of being with the Phoenix Suns, and now doing it with Philadelphia.
And he was going to the baseline, but the foul on Stith before he gets there. Veterans know when they're in a groove, and even though Bryant Stith is going to be a very good player in this league, Hornacek feels right now he's got the offense going and he wants the basketball.
Hornacek, it is very surprising that this young man, who was an All-Star last year, is not on the Eastern All-Star squad this year. Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan will start, and the other guards, Joe Dumars and Mark Price. How could you leave Jeff Hornacek off an All-Star team? Robert Pack is now inserted in the lineup, and Bryant Stith goes out. So Dan Issel with the quick small backcourt to try to jumpstart the Nuggets offense. Hornacek, 87% foul shooter. He is 17 already, and we still have 6 minutes to go in the first half. 8 straight points now for the 76ers. Jackson. Plummer rejected by Perry. Here's Hornacek sliding in, and he knows how to finish.
Well, the Sixers have really been good, and Dan Issel wants a timeout. They've run on every Nugget miss, and they've been able to generate the numbers because of it.
The 76ers go.
He's 8 of 11 from the field. He's hit layups, he's hit jump shots, and he's pretty much had his way offensively with the Nuggets.
Showing you the arsenal. Hornacek, who was a second-round draft pick out of Iowa State, the 46th pick in the draft.
And was a walk-on at Iowa State.
And he went on to set 6 school records. First team, all Big 8. And he's the man that Doug Moe wanted in the trade for Charles Barkley. Doug said he'd like to have a guy like Barkley, a guy who could carry you to a championship. But he knew all that had gone on between Barkley and the 76ers, that he just had to make a change. And he got these 3 players who actually are starters with Phoenix. Pack in traffic. Now it's Mutombo. Can't bury it. Plummer finally gets fouled.
I think what you're seeing right now, I'm not exactly sure as to why, but the Nuggets don't seem to have their legs. We've seen Reggie Williams and Chris Jackson with short shots from the field. And here, after some pretty good offensive work inside, Dikembe Mutombo will finally gather in a miss from Robert Pack and go up to throw it down. He just can't elevate. Just doesn't get in the air. Plummer finally fouled.
And Plummer hits his first foul shot. Well, that was the consideration in Los Angeles. It wasn't the fact that the Nuggets come off the big win and were flat off of that victory in Seattle. They just said they just didn't have the legs. Look at all the shots they missed in Seattle, in Los Angeles. 42 field goals made and 104 shots. Nuggets right now trailing by 3. And you know, the Sixers, who have taken the lead now, are energized in this one. They have found their confidence. This guy certainly has Gilliam. Robert Pack goes upstairs for the rebound. 5 minutes left. It's ahead to Mutombo on the run. He elevates on that one.
Yeah, sure found his legs there. Nice pass from Pack.
Perry knew that Mutombo, no way he was going to get back down to the other end, and he takes it inside. But he is fouled by Plummer.
Well, Dikembe Mutombo filling the lanes, and Pack finds him, and Mutombo sends that one home. But again, the Sixers able to generate running back and offense against the Nuggets. Another good look as Dikembe flies in from the wing. And this really is vintage Doug Moe. Remember how many times the Nuggets here at home will give up a bucket and then run the ball down the throats of their opposition.
Let's check in with Drew Goodman. Drew?
Well, Alan, Dave, it has become Dan Issel's style to almost make predictions or guarantees during timeouts in his huddle. He said, if we play hard, we're going to win. He said that a number of occasions. Tonight, he just told his team, if we don't start playing and feeling that we're going to get ready to play, I guarantee you this game is gone.
Right now, it's a 3-point lead for the 76ers. They reeled off 10 straight points in the second quarter to turn a 5-point deficit into a 5-point lead. And they're trying to hang on to that right now. Pack with a crossover dribble, and there's some congestion inside. The 76ers on a 3-on-2. Hawkins is fouled. The personal foul is called against Hammonds. And Dan Issel is wondering why a foul wasn't called on the other end with all the congestion and why there was on this end.
Well, again, although it looked like there should have been a foul called, Sixers able to run back at the Nuggets. This copyright program is presented by the authority of the NBA and the Denver Nuggets and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written permission of the NBA, the Denver Nuggets, and Prime Sports Network is prohibited.
Keep him out there. Keep him out.
Hawkins gets the 2. He now has 8 points, and the lead is 5 for the 76ers. Down to 4 minutes and 16 counting in the second quarter. Jackson flicks the wrist. Liberty. Marcus Liberty, the right place at the right time, and he has 6 points. And again, it's a 3-point Philadelphia lead. Weatherspoon. He's got it. Only the second field goal for the rookie, Clarence Weatherspoon, who started at Southern Mississippi, was a 9th pick in the first round by the Philadelphia 76ers. And there's a quick whistle. It is number 2 on Tim Perry. You know, Doug Moe complaining, says, I don't have the talent here, but I don't quite understand. He said this is not a running team. There's Johnny Dawkins as a point guard. The little Greg Grant, who really can move behind him. You got 2 great shooters in Hawkins and Hornacek. And then you got Lang as a block shot. Perry, a very active guy. I don't know where Doug is coming from with that assessment.
I'll tell you this, they ran here in Denver with less talent than we see here for Philadelphia, so I'm not sure where he's coming from either.
And plus Weatherspoon, I haven't even mentioned him. Definitely a Doug Moe style player. 3.5 to go in this second quarter. Liberty from afar. Nuggets just can't find it from outside. The many fakes by Mutombo, and Manute gets him. Starts the fast break. Weatherspoon wiggles in. And now the Nuggets back the other way, but Manute ball is waiting for him. Won't go that far. Reaching in is Johnny Dawkins, who commits the personal foul. He stops the Nugget fast break.
Well, even Dikembe with the head and shoulders fake cannot throw it down on Manute Bol. He got him in the air once, but you can see hand on top of the basketball.
He did fake him out.
Yeah, he got him in the air.
But Manute is all arm. Now you see that sequence, and you would never believe Mutombo is 7'2". Jackson over Manute, but it was Perry who blocked it. Dawkins looking for a cutting man. Stolen by Pack. Weaving through traffic. Picked up by Liberty. There's Jackson wide open. And Bol may have gotten a piece of that one. Jackson tries again. He leaves Bol deep in the corner. 8 points now for Chris Jackson, who has really had to work for his points. 4 of 12 from the field for Jackson. Weatherspoon backing in on Liberty. The double team. You could do that with Bol on the floor. Throws up a looper.
Very, very good description of that shot.
Very creative, Manute Bol. Realize if he held the ball in front of him and took a jump shot, he'd probably go, the trajectory would be over the backboard. Or at least shooting down. This one's against Perry, I believe, and that would be his 3rd. Well, check that, 4th personal foul on Perry.
If you were playing a game of horse and you had to do what Manute does, I'm not sure what you would call that, but a looper is just fine with me.
You know, I read his lips right there, and he was saying to Mutombo, off glass.
Yeah.
He called the bank.
Yep.
And meanwhile, at the other end, Bowles sets up on the lane to watch Dikembe Mutombo get a couple of foul shots. Mutombo could break into double figures. And he does right there. 10 points for Mutombo to go along with his 8 rebounds. Mutombo last year averaged 22 points and 15 rebounds per game in the 2 over Philadelphia. As tough a season it was for the Nuggets last year, they swept the 76ers in the 2-game series. And now Doug Moe offering the fans some vivid reminders of the Doug Moe of the past. Mutombo sinks the 2. 11 points now for Dikembe Mutombo, and the 76ers lead dwindles to 1. Number 3, Greg Grant, at 5'7", is in the lineup. Hornacek maneuvers for some more. Here's Hawkins for 3. Percy Hawkins hits his 54th three-pointer of the year in 139 attempts. Jackson for 2. And that way short. Chris Jackson standing out there trying to figure out what is going on tonight.
Well, when you get off to a tough start shooting, sometimes even great shooters lose a little bit of confidence, and Jackson just aimed that ball instead of letting it go.
Waiting inside underneath was Mutombo looking to grab his 9th rebound. It never came. Well, if there's one man who you think would know how to play against the passing game, it's Doug Moe. And that's what he's trying to do. He knows the Nuggets have kind of gotten it together of late. But tonight suffering from the outside. Nuggets are shooting 32% from the field. Jackson, great fake. Mutombo with Ball. Ball was there again. 3rd foul on Manute Bol.
And Bol and Mutombo high five, and believe me, that's a literal version. Nice pump fake by Jackson. Gets Manute in the air, but he gathers himself and gets back across the forearm that time. And Dikembe, I don't think, has been challenged so much above the rim this year by anybody.
Mutombo will get a couple of shots now. He averages 13 a game. And if he hits the next one, he'll have 13 points here in the first half. Alfonso with 13 and 11 boards against the Lakers. 15 points all in the second half against Seattle, along with 17 boards. 3 block shots in each of the game. Dikembe Mutombo getting more and more comfortable now. 13 points tonight for Dikembe. Again, the Nuggets do it in 2. So you have quick. Grant gets the ball down the floor. Small lineup for the Philadelphia 76ers with Grant and Hornacek and Hersey in at the same time. Hornacek, anytime open, just put up 2 on the scoreboard. 21 in the first half for Jeff Hornacek. This is a small lineup around Manute Bol, I should add. Reggie Williams still looking for his first basket. Jackson over Bol. And busting out is Weatherspoon. Here's Grant on the run. Rejected by Williams. Looking to just swat a fly out of the air. And we have a push. Dick Bavetta makes the call against Robert Pack. Pack is his 2nd personal foul. We're inside the final minute of the second quarter. And the 76ers looking to take the lead into the locker room.
Well, that's a great block by Reggie Williams, but again, the Sixers getting to a lot of the loose basketballs. Weatherspoon just going up and over for that one.
Jeff Hornacek's career high is 35 points. And he will give that a run tonight. He scored the 35 points against the Philadelphia 76ers when he was a member of the Suns. He's looking for his 23rd in the first half. 54-48. It's the biggest lead for Philadelphia. Mutombo turns on Bol. Now there's even some help, and that leaves Hammonds open. The double team, and Hammonds has 9 in the first half. Hornacek wants to take it himself. The first shot, and Denver with the ball. There's 30 seconds to go, and Hornacek, they just wanted to get an extra possession. Inside, Williams floats it up to Mutombo. Watch out for Bol. He was, and underneath was Hornacek. Behind the back goes Weatherspoon. And Hornacek pulls it out with 10 seconds left. 1 shot. The odds are it'll end up in the hands of Hornacek. Grant, 5 seconds. He dishes the other way. Weatherspoon restricted. Whistle, foul. Hammonds is hit with his second personal foul. And with 1 second left, the Sixers have a gift to add 2 more points.
Well, Grant with a nice whip pass to Weatherspoon. Oh, no. Dikembe got the block, but Hammonds on the way up called for the foul. Hammonds there with the foul. Dikembe gets a lot of basketball.
Clarence Weatherspoon, who can get up there, he will be involved in the slam dunk contest come All-Star weekend. Armin Gilliam comes in for the last 1.1 as Manute Bol goes out with the 3 fouls, but the Manute doing his thing. The Nuggets unable to score from inside, and tonight their shooting has been woeful from the outside, and that has presented them with a major problem this evening. 8 points for Weatherspoon. Oh, maybe another one. Oh, and a foul by Hammonds. With no seconds left, Weatherspoon will have 2 more, and Dan Issel doesn't want to see any more of this. We'd like to get Drew Goodman in the locker room at halftime because the horse will be screaming. No help for Tom Hammonds, and Hammonds pulling the trigger a little too soon.
Just lost the basketball, wanted to throw it up court, decided not to, and by that time the ball was gone.
So nobody will be on the lane. These are 2 free shots. There's no while they're putting 2/10 of a second back on the clock. And the 76ers could now go into the locker room with an 8-point lead. This right now could be a triumphant return by Doug Moe. And you know the kind of game it is because Doug is now into it. Remember the beginning of the game? Essentially it said, Denver, easy game for Denver, and he's relaxing through it.
Feels like he's got a pretty good shot now. And you'll see Doug, I'm sure, very active in the second half.
Weatherspoon misses the first one. Andrew Lang comes in defensively for Hornacek. Hornacek goes out with 23 in the first half. He had 14 in the second quarter. So Weatherspoon gets 1 of the 2. And I think the Nuggets are happy to hear the buzzer set out for the Nuggets, and you can expect a concerted effort off the bat because the Nuggets must have their ears ringing from Dan Issel, but it's Philadelphia who starts off. Clarence Weatherspoon hit 2 of 10 in the first half, and he now has 11 points, and the Sixers have their biggest lead of 59. Alfonso Ellis starting with the 3 personal fouls. Gets it stripped. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Jackson a force. And there is Liberty skying, but he can't hold on.
Well, Philadelphia is going to try to get Clarence Weatherspoon more involved in the offense, and especially with Marcus Liberty playing because of the strength edge that Weatherspoon has.
The tip away by Liberty. Near steal by Hersey Hawkins. Nuggets trying to get that fast break going, trying to find some energy here. And now Doug Moe a little more relaxed with a 9-point lead. His team comes in having won 8 and lost 13 on the road. Actually, the home record is not much better, 9 and 15. It's a new Reggie Williams. Williams missed all 6 of his attempts in the first half. Chris Jackson was 4 of 15. Robert Pack is 1 of 6. 9 block shots for Philadelphia in the first half. Nuggets at 6. But this is off of Perry. Nuggets now have a window of opportunity. Chance now to slice it down to 5, and they're moving the ball quickly down floor. 59-52. This is a 3-pointer by Williams. Terry, does he know it's coming? Yes. Terry holds it up.
You see early the Nuggets doing a better job of getting back defensively. Philadelphia not able to get to the basket after the miss.
Hornacek makes the move into the arm of Chris Jackson, but Jackson is called with his second personal foul. Hornacek can only smile and laugh. He knows he got away with something right there.
I think he gets hit though in the
face.
Yeah.
Weatherspoon trying to make his move. Nice feed to Lang, who hasn't taken a shot yet. And it is on Ellis. And the Nuggets are in deep trouble. Alfonso Ellis has his 4th personal foul, and he will be going. Dan Issel knows it. He knows how much Ellis now means to this team. Alfonso LaFonso upset. You know, here's LaFonso is having such a great season. You have to consider him. I mean, after the Shaq, right up there with guys like Mourning and top draft picks for this season. Gets his first shot at national exposure. Tonight's game also telecast on TNT. Had a great first quarter, 10 points, and now saddled with foul difficulty. You could just see the burning in the eyes of Ellis. We're not going to see him probably until the fourth quarter. And Doug Moe knows that he now has a very good chance of pulling off the victory here tonight. 61-52. Sixers lead it by 9. Nuggets trying to discover a spark. They are really flat this evening. Mutombo double team. Perry reaching over, and it'll be Denver ball. Nuggets have 9 seconds to shoot. 2 minutes have gone by in this third quarter. And it's out of bounds, and the Nuggets with a turnover.
Well, I tell you, it's kind of like driving in the mud. The harder you hit the gas, the more you spin the tires, at least so far.
Sixers could take a double-point figures lead. Hornacek has yet to score in the second half after 23 in the first. Here's Witherspoon, and Mutombo grabs it away. Mutombo with a big night on the boards. That's his 9th rebound. Now Robert Pack comes in. So Ray Valentine has a shot. If Pack slam dunks it in, the first slam dunk, and Pack may feel that may be a way to get the Nuggets started. 9.5 to go in this third period. Williams looking for room. Mutombo runs into some traffic, and it's a foul on if it's Perry. He gets his, it will be his fourth.
By the pick and roll, and Dikembe takes it strong, and Perry, you see there, just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And now he'll be in the wrong place at the wrong time, sitting on the bench.
Doug Moe getting a nice first half out of Armin Gilliam, guy who has been lately relegated to the bench, but in 12 minutes, he had 4 or 5 field goals, 11 points, 6 rebounds for Gilliam. That was a rap he got. Barkley said he just doesn't play hard every night. Now a rebounder disappears on the floor. Going in. A heartbeat from Ray Valentine. A perfect contestant just around Valentine's Day. And this goes against the Nuggets.
Robert Pack kicked the basketball, and Philadelphia has it.
Alley-oop, Witherspoon over Mutombo. And the foul will be on Dikembe. Clarence Weatherspoon showing you how he can rise to the occasion. And it's getting worse for the Denver Nuggets. Timeout. And Michael Spinks, he's talking about comeback, but he just keeps on talking about it. We haven't seen it, and hopefully that's all we hear is just talk. Dan Issel all over Dikembe Mutombo after that timeout. Mutombo with the foul on that last play. Clarence Weatherspoon going up for the stuff. And by the way, that was the first slam dunk in the second half. So sorry, Ray Valentine. We don't get a shot of. He doesn't get a shot of Robert Pack winning him some prizes. And this was Dan Issel during the timeout. And he was going wild.
That is the single biggest tirade we've seen this year from Dan. He wasn't happy with Dikembe not running back. He wasn't happy with anybody.
Now Weatherspoon will get a free foul shot. Did they call it? How do they call that a flagrant foul? Weatherspoon hits the foul. And now the Sixers get the ball out. It appeared to me that Mutombo was just he found himself stuck inside. So the Sixers now lead by 12. Here's Weatherspoon again, and Mutombo was up there. And the Nuggets now on the run. Robert Pack, the Liberty, the crowd trying to pump up the Nuggets, who just can't find the handle tonight. Reggie Williams, 15 seconds to shoot. We have 9 minutes left in the third quarter, and this is on Hornacek trying to stick the hand in and make the swipe. Third foul on Hornacek. And now, no, they say the foul instead is on Armin Gilliam. So Gilliam gets his first Nuggets have just 2 points in this quarter, and we have played a little over 3 minutes. They've been outscored 7-2. Liberty stopped and popped, and he is way off the mark. And there is Mutombo. It will be Philadelphia ball. By the way, Ray Valentine for participating in our Budweiser Slam and Jam contest. We have some parting gifts. Prime Sports Network T-shirt for participating tonight. Gilliam, and it is against Armand Gilliam. He's now getting a few calls their way.
A pretty good defense in the blocks here by Tom Hammonds against a stronger Armand Gilliam, but you can see the left arm here takes Hammonds into the lane. Woody Mayfield makes the call.
76ers by 12, and Doug Moe feels very good right now. Williams, no. Williams, no. Mutombo, no. And there is that congestion. The one thing Andrew Lang presents inside is a defensive presence. He'll get a lot of fouls, but he'll also get a lot of block shots. He had 8 in one game against the Nuggets last year.
When you shoot a poor percentage, you have to do a good job offensively on the glass, and sometimes you just have to have more determination than the other guy. Dikembe that time goes up strong and gets the foul.
Well, he's had determination from the foul line. Dikembe, a 66% shooter from the foul line, has hit all 8 of his foul shots tonight.
Boy, Nuggets shooting 31%, 19 of 62. Yeah, how hard you work if you're shooting that percentage.
From the foul line, they're 15 of 18. 64-53, Sixers working on the 11-point lead. They haven't gotten a point out of Hornacek yet in the second half. Dumps it off to Lang. Wrong man to pass to on the move. 3-on-2. Pack Liberty. He slides in. 8 points for Liberty. Nuggets have had some fantastic finishes, especially here at home. No, there's still plenty of time to go in this one. Percy Hawkins has but 3 field goals in the game. Gilliam has hit that little 15-footer. Hornacek with a man in his face, and he is fouled. Jeff Hornacek, unstoppable tonight, 25. Could not have had a man play him any tighter than that.
Well, Andrew Lang just hands the ball back, and Pack barely nicks Hornacek on the arm, not enough to throw off the shot. And that's the wrong guy to foul on a jumper.
On the replay, it did seem as if Hornacek had a little more room than we had thought from our angle. 26 now for Jeff Hornacek. He's closing in on his career high of 35. This is what he averaged a game against the Nuggets in 4 games with Phoenix last year. Robert Pack dishes it off. Mutombo bangs it home. 16 points from Mutombo, and we'll see if he picks it up after hearing it from Dan Issel. Great pass, but the rim shot. The loose ball. Liberty takes out Gilliam. Now it's Williams on the run. Robert Pack. He dives inside. And the Nuggets with Pack leading the way, coming back. 67-59. Hornacek could quiet this crowd in a hurry. Gets it to the open man. And this is off of Philadelphia. The Nuggets certainly getting the calls here in the third quarter. Philadelphia has to hustle back. Nuggets now trying to drive it right down their throats. Robert Pack behind the back. He got it, and he is fouled. And Doug Moe, who certainly knows when the tempo is shifting, quickly off the bench to call a timeout. But Jeff Hornacek going wild tonight. 26 points. Dikembe Mutombo now fired up by his coach with 16 points, but it's Robert Pack who's really pushing the pace for the Nuggets.
Yeah, he certainly takes this one strong to the basket. Eludes Hornacek behind the back move, and Pack really has been the catalyst the last couple of minutes.
We're almost ready to say, why is he going behind the back when he has a straight shot to the basket? You need the points, but then you kind of pull back. Here's Hammonds almost cutting in, but he can't hold on. It almost turned into a 4-point play. 6 straight points for the Nuggets, so Hornacek takes it into his hands.
Well, I'll tell you, Jeff Hornacek is on a roll. That time he takes a step into the basket and to the defender and still hits the jump shot.
28 now for Hornacek. Reggie Williams, and it's the Sixers on the run. Johnny Dawkins coast to coast, and he draws the foul. Both Williams and Liberty are back there, and the referee now making the call. See who it's against. And they say that's on Robert Pack. Where was he? Fourth foul on Robert Pack. He comes right now to the sideline. He'll stay in. Chris Jackson also is in the lineup.
Johnny Dawkins, before he hurt his knee, may have been one of the 2 or 3 quickest players inline to inline in the league. And now after tearing the anterior cruciate, he's lost a little bit, but he still has enough.
Makes the 2 foul shots, and the 76ers, who have been staggered by a right cross from the Denver Nuggets, are now clearing the cobwebs. With Hammonds cutting in on that missed foul shot, Nuggets have a chance to move to within 4. Pack takes it to the hole. Hammonds tries again from inside. Battling inside, Tommy Hammonds beats big Andrew Lang, and it's another double figures night for Hammonds. He has 11. 71-63 in favor of Philadelphia. 6 minutes down, 6 to go. Gobbled up is Hornacek, and he saves it off a Nugget leg and out of bounds. Sixers still have 12 seconds to shoot. Hornacek, the star tonight, into the hands of Hawkins, lets it go, and there's Robert Pack upstairs for the rebound. Pack darts out for the Nuggets. Denver still cannot hit an outside shot. Williams 1 for 10, Jackson 4 for 16, so they go inside.
Well, everything the Nuggets have had in this 4-minute stretch has come from Robert Pack penetrating, either hitting the layup or dishing off for an easy shot.
Again, the Nuggets to within 6. And you wonder if Doug Moe will go to Manute Bol with all the Nuggets action inside. 3-on-2, Reggie Williams feeding Lang back. Oh, almost got it, but will now go to the line. Andrew Lang on the run, and he gets his 4th personal foul. So check that, that is his 3rd.
Robert Pack, the last time down, penetrates, draws Andrew Lang. Mutombo walks in from the baseline. When you're not shooting a good percentage, you like to get high percentage shots, and that's about as high as it gets.
That is only the 3rd point of the night for Reggie Williams, and there is Manute Bol. So Doug Moe countering with the Nuggets' inside attack. Manute in that first half, they credit him with only 2 blocked shots, and I would certainly question that. If he had 2 blocked shots, he certainly altered 5 other ones. And now Reggie Williams maybe get that shooting touch back from hitting a couple from the foul line. He has missed 9 of his 10 field goal tries. Reggie Williams, who's been averaging 24 a game in the last 6 at home. Mutombo beaten by Dawkins. 73-67, or rather, Hawkins. Sounds like Dawkins.
Rhymes with it.
Robert Pack pulls it back. Mutombo wants the ball against Bol. Chris Jackson. 10 points for Chris Jackson. Remember how ice cold he was in Seattle? He had 3 of his first 13, but then hit the big 3-pointer to win the game. Hammonds. And the Nuggets now a chance to move to within 2. Robert Pack in traffic. Here is Reggie Williams. Pulls the trigger. Swish. There it is. And the Nuggets are just 2 points behind. 4.5 left in the 3rd quarter. The Sixers led by 12 in this period. Dawkins. Weatherspoon with Mutombo.
Hey, that's a tough shot. You got to credit Weatherspoon for great body control going up. Mutombo got from the weak side there in time. Weatherspoon still knocked it down.
75-71. Philadelphia hangs on to the lead. Coming down to 4 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. The Nuggets putting the pressure on the Sixers here in the 3rd. Pack off the screen. Starts inside. Look to dish it out. It's off a Sixer leg. 5 seconds for the Nuggets to shoot. Williams comes in. And Weatherspoon with 16 points leaves. Nuggets have gone this whole quarter without LaFonso Ellis, who picked up his 4th personal foul in the first minutes of the 3rd. Mutombo trying it against Bol. Over 7'7". Manute Bol, and it's a 20-point night for Mutombo. Only his 4th 20-point evening of the season. His season high is 29 in the game against Chicago. A rare miss by Hornacek, but he gobbles up the rebound. Only the 6th shot he has missed in 17. He goes in, dances by Mutombo. Put down by Dikembe. His 11th rebound.
Okay, that's great help by Tom Hammonds.
This is to tie it. Reggie Williams coming alive in the third quarter. The 12-point deficit has been wiped out. It took the Nuggets 2.5 quarters to finally get their wake-up call.
Hornacek was able to take Dikembe Mutombo off the dribble, but the last bucket was set up by great defense by Tom Hammonds. Watch him get his body in front of Hornacek and not foul, forcing that shot to be short. And the Nuggets were off to the races. And they wind up capping that play with the Reggie Williams layup. That's great help defense by Tom Hammonds.
7 quick points here in the comeback by Reggie Williams, and Doug Moe knows what to go for. And his visions now changed a little bit. Leading by 12 in this quarter. And Dan Issel spiriting the Nuggets. The Issel tirade, I guess that was one from the book of Doug Moe, is really pumped up this Nugget club, and they're doing without LaFonso Ellis, sitting out most of this third quarter with foul trouble. High man is Dikembe Mutombo with 20. Then Tom Hammonds off the bench with 11 points. Ellis in a short period of time has 10 with the 76ers in town. 3 minutes, 13 seconds to go. So Doug Moe calls the timeout. He still has Manute Bol in the lineup. In low it goes to Gilliam. That's where he likes his game. Shot clock at 12 seconds. Perry back in. The stutter step is down to 8 seconds. Returns it to Gilliam. The double team. Turnaround. Not a good shot. And it's off of Manute Bol. And I think they will even call a foul on Manute. You figure Manute Bol at 7'7". You figure what number should he stay away from? The number with a 1 in it, right? It makes you look even taller. It's like fashions. If you don't want to look thin, don't wear pinstripes.
Well, Hammonds did a nice job there on the blocks on Gilliam. He told Chris Jackson not to double down. He could take him by himself, and it worked out.
Now gets a chance to take the lead for the first time since early in this game. And Dikembe Mutombo is doing it from the foul line tonight. 9 of 10 from the line for Mutombo. Last time the Nuggets led was midway in the second quarter. Nuggets were won 7-7 at home. Now 15-7 coming into this. 10 of 11 from the foul line. 22 points from Mutombo. 9 here in this third quarter. Denver in front, 77-75. The ebbs and flows. The NBA. Hawkins from behind Hammonds. Hammonds thought he got all ball, but Dick Bavetta does not agree. 3 personal fouls now on Tom Hammonds, who has really worked himself into the rotation quickly. This guy in 19 games with Charlotte this year couldn't find a spot for him. He's averaging 2 points a game. And Doug Moe, Dan Issel did not waste any time getting him into the rotation. And quite frankly, he has performed, and he's earning more and more time. Hawkins makes the first one as Hammonds now goes to the bench, replaced by Plummer. And let's check in with Drew Goodman. Drew?
Yeah, speaking of Dan Issel, I haven't seen him get up this high since probably back in 1985. The last time the Nuggets had the ball before their timeout, and they tied the basketball game at the end about 3-4 inches off the ground. By the way, during the timeout, he said, guys, don't be content just to get even with them. Now let's move ahead and put this one in the book.
Jackson with a quick hand gets it back. Here's Pack. Halfway in and then pounced back out. Now with Dawkins showing you he has some speed left. You got to watch out for Hawkins from 3-point range. Worked down by Plummer. Jackson now with this tie ball game. Williams, stutter step against Perry. 2:15 left in the third quarter. Plummer to Mutombo, and he just saw who was in front of him. Dikembe was thinking, now what do I do with Manute there? Now that doesn't go as a block shot, but it's Bol's presence who caused the turnover. Down to 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Dawkins, inside it goes to Perry. Turnaround, not his shot, but Gilliam with offensive rebound. Off the way, Williams on the run. Williams in traffic. Williams from 20.
And Reggie Williams knew his shot was off as soon as he let it go and went right to where he thought it might come off the rim. And Chris Jackson gets a three-pointer.
His 31st of the season in 90 attempts. And Denver now leads by those three off the fingertips of Chris Jackson. Hawkins loses it. Mutombo grabs it. 1:20 to go. The Nuggets pushing. Here's Williams over Bol. And it's 9 points in the third quarter for Reggie Williams. And the Denver Nuggets have rebounded to take a 5-point lead.
And really, it goes to show you what Philadelphia has when Jeff Hornacek is not in the court, because they have struggled offensively. Williams gets into the lane and up before Manute can actually get to it.
And
good pass by Robert Peck.
Reggie knew he had to get the quick release. Yep. He had to beat Manute back. And he just had that split second. And now we're seeing a little more vintage Doug Moe, because he knew he had this game. Coming up, what will be the reactions after what has turned into a more heated game than Doug Moe anticipated, when Doug will be the guest of Dan Issel and Drew Goodman on the Dan Issel Show following tonight's broadcast right here on Prime Sports Network. With Doug here and joining Dan and Drew, that will have to go down as the highest rated Dan Issel show ever on Prime Sports. The Nuggets have outscored Doug Moe's Sixers 32-20 here in this third quarter. And just moments ago, it was Dan Issel who was ranting and raving, and a calm Doug Moe on his bench. 1:05 left in the third. That could have been a foul on Dawkins, but the Nuggets will take the turnover into the hands of Pack. Pack takes a look. Jackson just hit that three, a man of many moves. Reaching in, Johnny Dawkins, and along with Hersey Hawkins, they'll call the foul on Hawkins. I'm sure in a fast-paced game, sometimes it'll be Johnny Hawkins and Hersey Dawkins.
Well, as long as it's not that way when they leave the arena, I suppose we're okay.
But unfortunately for Doug Moe, the Sixers haven't gotten to that fast-paced game yet. Chris Jackson stepped to the foul line for the first time tonight. 91% from the line, and you know he has missed only 2 foul shots at home this year, 56 of 58. So now Hornacek is back in along with number 3, Greg Grant. With 57 seconds left. Nuggets ice cold from the floor until this third quarter, but from the foul line, 21 of 24. This is a 3 by Manute. Have Doug Moe right now ripping off that beautiful new tie. Marcus Liberty, 40 seconds to go. Robert Pacquias Liberty open. This is the three. Nuggets has been on target with that three-pointer of late. Here's the speed of Grant to the speed of Dawkins.
Well, it's quick on quick. Robert Pack cuts Grant off, but Dawkins flies in from the left side. Nuggets
now will take some time. There's a 5-second differential. Denver now has 14 seconds to shoot, leading by 5. Robert Pack taking a look, 7 seconds to shoot. 4 seconds, Pack now makes the move, maybe a little bit too late. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He started too late, and then he gave Dikembe an impossible pass to handle.
Todd Lichty coming in. This is the first time that Lichty has been on the floor in 3 games with just under 6 seconds to go. Philadelphia has to go the length of the floor, and there's a steal by Pack. He rises to the occasion. Pack gets it back. Witherspoon in time. Oh my! Clarence Witherspoon erases those 2 points by lines of a road arena. Right now, Doug Moe, he thought he had this one perhaps in his pocket, a possible steal. He was up by 12 points in that third quarter when the Nuggets finally found their legs. And Denver outscores Philadelphia 36-24 in the third quarter and takes a fourth quarter lead. And the Nuggets able to rest LaFonso Ellis with the 4 personal fouls and actually turn the game around with Ellis on the bench. So LaFonso starts the fourth quarter. Oh my, man, right in his face. And Jackson now starting to light it up.
And it looks like the three-pointer might have got Chris Jackson going.
17 points now for Jackson. Jackson and Pack with Lichty, Liberty, and Ellis. Witherspoon buries it.
Perfect pass from Grant on the lob.
Witherspoon had a little trouble getting going. He had only one field goal in the first quarter, but now he has 20 points. Lichty trying to make up for very little playing time. He feels it.
You can see right now, Chris Jackson with that three-pointer really got his offensive game in gear. He is feeling it.
And the Nuggets have their biggest lead. Grant for three. Philadelphia really needed that one, and over the back of LaFonso Ellis goes Clarence Witherspoon, his second personal foul. Doug Moe now going without either of his centers, without Lang or without Manute Bol. See, the Sixers got the better of things in the second quarter, but the Nuggets turning it back around in the third. We played 1 minute of this fourth quarter. Nuggets looking for their 9th straight at home. They're looking for their 19th win. Here's Chris Jackson sliding through over Curry. Unbelievable.
That's 5 straight by Jackson.
92-83. The Nuggets lead is now 9. Hornacek the double team. Grant stopped by Liberty. Hornacek shadowed now by Robert Pack, twisting, turning, pulling away, and hits.
So he's got to shoot the ball. That's only his 5th shot in the second half. He had 14 in the first.
23 points in the first half for Hornacek. He now has 30, and he's on the run again. He'll be looking for the shot. And he's fouled. Second personal foul on Chris Jackson.
Well, you know that if Philadelphia is going to get back in this game, and they're 7 points down with 10.5 to go, that Jeff Hornacek is going to be the catalyst. He spins on Robert Pack, falls away, and knocks it down, and then the last time down gets into Chris Jackson's body and draws the foul.
Amazing thing about Hornacek coming out of Iowa State, he was strictly a point guard when he went into the pros, and then Philadelphia acquired Kevin Johnson, and Hornacek knew if he continued to be a point guard, he's not getting much playing time. So he really went out and developed himself as a number 2. And this is a bona fide all-star who will not be in the all-star lineup. Doug Moe sitting next to his assistant, Freddie Carter, the Mad Dog. 32 points now for Hornacek, and the Nuggets lead is 5. Robert Pack off the pick of Liberty. He's short 10. Just can't make it on the tip. Johnny Dawkins in a hurry. Shoots it to Grant. Hornacek for 3. And it's run down by LaFonso Ellis. Nuggets breaking out quickly. Robert Pack stopped by Hornacek. Fouled by Hornacek.
And that's a case where Jeff Hornacek realizes that Robert Pack is going to be able to take him off the dribble. Just takes a foul.
And for Hornacek, his second personal foul. 10 minutes to go in period number 4. Robert Pack takes Dawkins out. They clear out. Nuggets want an illegal defense. Now Jackson working on Grant, who is all over him and fouls him. You know, Chris Jackson, one guy he really has trouble with is Muggsy Bogues. And you would figure maybe a guy who could just kind of get on him and get under him. And now that's what Doug Moe's trying with Greg Grant. Dan Issel still working on the officials. He wanted an illegal defense.
Which it was. Chris Jackson had 2 guys on him. He didn't have the ball.
Jackson hits the wrist. Swish.
That's 6 in a row from Chris from the floor.
23 points. Chris Jackson saying to Doug Moe, Doug, you were right. Doug doesn't want to see it tonight. Doug Moe, who drafted Chris Jackson for the Nuggets. If this is on Ellis, it's number 5. So LaFonso Ellis always active around the basket, but you may have to change your game when you have 4 personal fouls.
So Witherspoon splits the double team there. Liberty and Ellis gets to the basket, and LaFonso gets called for the reach.
Witherspoon at 14 points, 15 rebounds in the last game against Houston. He had 20 against the Knicks in the game before. And he has stepped in, called Baby Barkley, coming out of southern Mississippi. Tumbo is in and Ellis goes out. Great start for Ellis, 10 points, but then the foul difficulty is essentially taking him out of this one. And you see the reaction. That's the most reaction you get from LaFonso Ellis this year. 21 now for Witherspoon. He averaged 22 points and 11 rebounds a game. Pack. Well, he didn't get that first slam dunk in the second half, but he certainly supplied several. No travel by Perry. The officials say no. Dawkins with the left hand, and Lichty gets the rebound. Oh, throws it away. 96-91. Nuggets with the ball and the lead. Lichty now trying to get it back. And the foul called against, let's see, could it be Hornacek reaching in? Yes, it is. Number 3 on Jeff Hornacek. Todd Lichty.
Well, Robert Pack doesn't care if you're a 7-footer or a 6'5" guy. I don't think Weatherspoon felt like he was going to throw it down until it was too late. And he got into the chest of Clarence Weatherspoon and then stepped in the middle of his back.
Philadelphia is seeing the Nuggets for the first time, and the now a building legend of the explosiveness of Robert Pack may have not reached these players yet. We know now. Todd Lichty scores his first 2 points in a long time. He did not play against L.A. and Seattle. Previous 2 games, 3 minutes against Dallas, 4 minutes against Sacramento. Over Lichty, Nuggets trying to quiet Hornacek with Lichty. Here's Pack again. Great pass by Mutombo, right into the fingertips of Robert Pack, who, as always, was off and running. 12 points now for Pack. The Nuggets lead, climbs to 9. Hornacek dishes out to Weatherspoon, and he hits the fall-away feathery touch over to Dikembe Mutombo. Chris Jackson now hobbling, and the Nuggets will call a 20-second timeout. Chris Jackson keeping the Nuggets in front. Chris was 4 of 15 at halftime, and he is now 10 of 22 from the floor. He's hit 5 of his, or 6 of his 7 shots in the second half. And Chris Jackson now trying to walk that one off. Trainer Jim Gillen right on the case. 22 shots for Chris Jackson. I don't know if a Nugget has taken over 20 shots in the game this year. Denver with already 90 shots in the ball game. This compliments, I guess, of Doug Moe. Moe wanted to get about 100 shots a game when he was here.
That's a good look by Dikembe Mutombo. And a nice pass, Robert Pack ahead of the Pack. Chris Jackson had 15 shots in the first half. 7 here in the second half. Of those 7, he's made 6.
Dan Issel calmed down a little bit. I think he's getting ready for the Dan Issel postgame show. 7-point lead for the Nuggets, who trailed by as many as 12, and now another unforced turnover. Hawkins sliding in. And the Philadelphia 76ers determined not to go away in this one. Robert Pack in the backcourt. This Jackson that comes out. Liberty, and he becomes the 6th Nugget in double figures. And a nice find by Reggie Williams. Weatherspoon taking over in the second half for Philadelphia, and there is a turnover for the 76ers. Would you believe they're 24th? No, I'm looking at the wrong column. 13th of the night. The Nuggets have 12 turnovers. 102-95. Nuggets. Mutombo this time looking for Pack. Hornacek turning the three. Defense around. They will score the basket and the foul.
Well, Hornacek is so smart at drawing fouls, and you'll see the ball pinned on the glass by Marcus Liberty, so a chance for a 3-point play. And just when it looks like the Nuggets are going to gain control of the game, they allow the Sixers to get back in.
Hornacek for his 35th point. Hornacek's career high was 35 coming into this season. For the 76ers, he has a 39-point performance, and he has 7-15 to score 5 points and break it. All-time high for Hornacek. And now the Sixers are within 4. Twisting and turning, it's Lichty. Got it back out to Pack, looking for Mutombo, trying to reciprocate on Mutombo's last pass, the length of the court. Now it's Gilliam checking in, and Grant goes out. No, Doug Moe says, Grant, get back in there. He takes out Witherspoon, who needs a breather. Witherspoon has 14 of his 23 points in the second half. 7 minutes left, and on the inbounds, it's whistled down. Whistled down against the Sixers. Greg Grant is hit.
We're told that Chris Jackson is being retaped and he'll be back and is fine.
Tommy Hammonds in. He has 10 rebounds in tonight's game.
Thank you.
And now Dan Issel telling the referees what should be happening on the floor. Has indicated that it was the 76ers 15th foul. The refs were going to give the Nuggets the ball out on the side. So Robert Pack will get a couple of foul shots. Robert Pack, who had hurt his right wrist 3 games ago against Dallas on that slam against Doug Smith. In the last 3 games, he has been held to 6 points, 5 points, and 7 points. But he explodes here tonight. 14 points for Robert Pack. Greg Plant circles. He's on the floor with Perry and Hawkins and Gilliam and Hornacek. Chris Jackson with the fakes. Now Williams wrapped up by Hornacek. Marcus Liberty backing in on the smaller Hawkins. Gets some help from Perry. 7 on the shot clock. There's a shift in mid-air by Jackson. Stays with it and gets fouled. Chris Jackson, a man of many moves. He is unbelievable.
Well, I tell you, that was a shift and a double shift. Liberty tries to back Hawkins down the lane. Can't get the shot. It's going to be rejected. Right to Jackson. This thing changed a couple of times. Pump, double pump, and almost got it to go in. Good work by Marcus Liberty on the boards.
He is fouled by Gilliam. Jackson has a great hang time and takes advantage of every split second he's in the air. Gaining and gaining confidence. It looked like Marcus Liberty was a written-off player just a few weeks ago. Mark Macon's injury opens the door for Marcus, who all of a sudden works himself into the rotation. He's been starting, and here is Marcus on cue. Marcus going, gone! And it's a 10-point lead for the Nuggets, their biggest of the ball game. 14 points now for Liberty. Armin Gilliam backing in on Hammond. And it's against Denver, reaching in. Reggie Williams, who likes to help out. That's where he comes up with many of his smashes or his steals. Speaking of smashes,
Marcus Liberty outruns Hersey Hawkins. Almost gets underneath the basket. Had to reach back to throw that one down.
12 points for Gilliam. And now LaFonso Ellis has come again. Playing with the 5 fouls. Hammonds gets a hand. He has a double 11 tonight. 11 points, 11 rebounds. Hammonds has been averaging only 2 rebounds a game. That has not been a strong suit in his opening games against the Nuggets. But tonight, really wrestling inside. Nuggets by 8. There's the time remaining in the fourth. Tomorrow night, right here at McNichols Arena, Michael Adams and the Washington Bullets take on the Denver Nuggets. It will be the Nuggets' 4th game in 5 nights. No television for that one. You want to see Adams and the Nuggets? The only way you will be able to is to come here to McNichols Arena or fly to Washington and tune it in on TV.
Cheaper to come here. Good idea.
5.5 left in the 4th quarter. Jackson. Watched by Hawkins. Still 20 seconds on the shot clock. Jackson hit it. Downtown for Chris Jackson, and he is putting on a display. Steamrolling in to Armin Gilliam. 15 points for Gilliam.
I think Dikembe got a piece of that, and Gilliam took his hand and the ball through the basket.
Jackson's season high 32. Fakes left, goes right. Switches in the air. Chris Jackson putting on a show. 28 points. Hawkins, no, and it's off of Hawkins and out of bounds.
Boy, Chris Jackson putting on a clinic on one end, and Dikembe Mutombo and mates tough defensively on the other end. Take a look at this. He leaves Hersey Hawkins standing still. Double clutches and a layup.
Chris Jackson, a trendsetter. Here's the 3. With Chris Jackson on fire.
Oh, man.
31 points for Jackson. Going wild in the second half. 23 of his 31 in the second half. Gilliam rips down Mutombo. Armand Gilliam showing you the power. 6'9", 245 pounds, and Mutombo says, hey, he took me down. Why did I get the foul?
He got here a little bit late, and Gilliam is already into the jump. And after the basket, there's the contact. Gilliam gets into the air before Mutombo can rise, and that thing is already dunked as Dikembe's on his way up.
Three-point play for Armand Gilliam. 18 points for Gilliam. Chris Jackson, he had 4 of 15 shots in the first half. He has hit 9 of 10 here in the second. He has 3 3-pointers tonight. This one is against Reggie Williams. Third foul on Williams. Nuggets lead it by 11, 4:15. Hornacek. And who's that one on? Was it LaFonso reaching in? No, they give it on Reggie Williams. Number 5 on Williams.
And again, the Nuggets look to be in control of the game, and they make some silly plays down the stretch.
Hornacek at 23 points in the first half. He now has 36, and he has been perfect from the foul line, 10 of 10. He averages 20 points per ball game. And he is now just 2 shy of his all-time career high. 7-year veteran from Iowa State. What more can Chris Jackson do? Let's just watch. It will be Denver ball. Chris Jackson, I've never seen one player make so many fakes on one sequence. We have to have a telestrator to just kind of pick out all the fakes. Travel violation on Mutombo. 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Philadelphia knows this is the moment they have to make their run. And it's a 3-pointer. Hornacek rims it, reaching in and reeling in the rebound is LaFonso Ellis. He has 10 rebounds in his limited time to go along with 10 points. Reggie Williams, Mutombo. 10 seconds to shoot. He could give it to Chris Jackson anywhere. There again. Ford, turnover, and Liberty stop. Thought that he drafted at number 3. Chris, of course, has had the sensational year, but tonight you are seeing his most spectacular performance. Here's a guy who, as a freshman with LSU, I think it was in his 3rd game, he scored 55 points. And you're seeing how a guy like this could score 55 points.
I tell you, I cannot think of the last time here at McNichols Arena that I've seen any player feel it as much as Jackson has the last 3 or 4 minutes. He's been unconscious from the outside.
You're talking about going back to David Thompson.
Yeah, that's right.
With a spectacular provided by Jackson tonight, and you know that will be a subject of discussion on the Dan Issel show following this ball game here on Prime Sports, when Drew Goodman and Dan are joined by Philadelphia's head coach Doug Moe. Nuggets lead it by 8. Ellis buries it inside.
So he pins Gilliam so far underneath the basket with his strength that Gilliam cannot get to the shot.
Sixers have lost 5 in a row. Here's Curry from downtown, and that's the first one he makes. He's missed 5 shots tonight. His first field goal is from 3-point range. Only the 7th 3-pointer he's hit this year, but it brings the Sixers to within 7 and keeps it nervous for the Nuggets. Denver trailed by as many as 12 in the 3rd quarter. Williams has been ice cold except in the 3rd when he helped rally it back. Mutombo fights for the rebound. Hornacek grabs it. Lead pass to Weatherspoon, but Jackson beats him back. Stops the break. But Weatherspoon stays in. It will. Oh, it does count. They'll call the foul on Ellis, and he is gone. And it's a 3-point possibility for Philadelphia. Nuggets thought the basket would be wiped out, and they go the other way.
Well, I didn't see Ellis move at all. Weatherspoon will take it to the baseline. No. Dick Bavetta made the call from the outside. And Ellis is neither under the basket nor moving when Weatherspoon gets to it.
26 points for Clarence Weatherspoon, the rookie. And LaFonso Ellis is gone. Per minute, LaFonso has played the better game against the rookie Weatherspoon, but Weatherspoon has had a little more action tonight. He looks for his 27th point. Mutombo reels this one in. Weatherspoon is one shy of his full high. It is now a 5-point game. Very much a ball game with 2.5 to go. Liberty over Perry. Big basket by Marcus Liberty. And a steal by Pack. Jackson fires from 3. A rare miss for Jackson. Now it presents a fast break for the Sixers, but they hold it up. Jackson, you can't argue with any shot he takes in the second half, but the Nuggets probably should look to use some time in a sequence like that. 20 points now for Gilliam. Again, it's a 5-point game. 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Robert Pack and Chris Jackson with Dikembe Mutombo, Reggie Williams, and Marcus Liberty. The Nuggets 5. Mutombo. 6 seconds to shoot. Mutombo, this will be a long, and they don't get it off. As they say, it's a long hook, and Dikembe Mutombo has to know better than that. 1:36 left, and Dan Issel pacing again. 76ers, who have their threats from downtown with Hawkins and Hornacek. Doug Moe is going to want to talk it over. Indiana, he and Reggie Miller bumping, and then Michael Jordan coming back the other way, charging into Reggie Miller, and they are going, that is really going one-on-one. Michael Jordan, who has palmed many basketballs, and now palming the head of Reggie Miller. So Jordan is suspended for the 1 game, and he sits it out tonight, and it costs the Bulls. They lose at home to the Knicks. 5-point lead for the Nuggets. Sixers with the ball. Weatherspoon hitting every shot. He has a career-high 29 points, and this is a 3-point ball game. The Nuggets led in this, led by as many as 14 after wiping out a 12-point Sixer deficit. Hammonds, big shot over Gilliam, hands it. Tommy Hammonds, a new addition to the Nuggets. 13 points, and the Nuggets now again by 5, looking for the stop. Perry misses. Nuggets can't hold on to the ball. Wide open, Weatherspoon moves closer on Mutombo. And this foul is called on Mutombo. His 4th foul. Mutombo also saying, I was standing inside. Dick Bavetta indicates Mutombo moved into it. That's a key play right there.
There could have been an offensive foul on Perry, who clearly charged Weatherspoon. I mean, Dikembe standing flat-footed with his arms in the air. I'm not sure how you make that call.
So instead of the Nuggets getting the ball with 57 seconds left and a 5-point lead, Weatherspoon stops the clock and could cut it down to 3 again. 122-119 in favor of the Nuggets. Reggie Williams flicks the wrist. Swish.
Oh, a big shot by a guy who has not shot the ball well tonight. Williams, 4, now 5 of 15.
Hornacek is wrapped up by Williams. Williams was all 6 shots in the first half, and Hawkins drills it from downtown. He has 20 points. It's a 2-point game with time dwindling. Chris Jackson makes the fake. Hawkins stays with him. Jackson forces. No good. Rebound Perry. Chris Jackson on fire in this second half, but 2 bad decisions. His last 2 shots, and it gives Doug Moe and the Sixers hope. Philadelphia with 23.5 seconds to go. Doug
said, guys, I know Doug, don't be surprised if he looks to get a 3-pointer off and win the basketball game right here. And of course, obviously, most of the talk was about defending a 2-pointer, but at the end of that timeout, he said, hey, I know Doug, don't be surprised if they try to work for a 3.
124-122, the Nuggets clinging to the lead. And Philadelphia with the ball. Hornacek will put it in play. The Nuggets have Pack, Williams, Mutombo, Hammonds, and Liberty. Hornacek into the hands of Perry. Hawkins, Gilliam, and Weatherspoon on the floor. Hawkins stops. It goes into the hot man. Now there's Hornacek outside. Here's Hawkins for 3. Mutombo and Williams with the rebound. Who was fouled immediately. Too many people knew about Doug Moe but still they get the good shot off. And there's the smirk by Dan Issel, says, I knew he was going to do it.
And I think the play originally was set for Hornacek from three-point range. He had to penetrate when covered. He kicks it to Hawkins, who got a pretty darn good look at the basket from three-point range. And if you're Doug Moe, that's all you can ask for.
And if you're Dan Issel, all you could ask for now is 2 foul shots from Reggie Williams. There's one. Reggie, an 80% foul shooter. Williams had no points in the first half. He ignited in the third quarter comeback, and now he's looking for his 15th point in the second half. And it's a Nugget 4-point lead with 8 seconds to go. Doug Moe now looking for the 4-point shot. Twists and turns in this one, and Doug Moe returns, and for the first time tonight we have seen an old ABA shootout. This is the second highest total for the Nuggets in a game this year. Earlier, and I mean real early, November 21st, one of the first few games of the season, they had 131 points against Minnesota, but they haven't come close to that the rest of the way. 126-122, the Nuggets holding on to a 4-point lead with 18 in the first half. The Nuggets trailed by 7 at halftime. They would fall behind by 12 in the third when Dan Issel really ripped into Dikembe Mutombo, and from that point turned around. It looked like it was Doug Moe back on the Nuggets bench. And that's when Denver turned it around so much. They led by 14 and almost saw that slip away. Still 8 seconds left. Philadelphia looking for the quick shot to leave some time on the clock. It's in the hands of the wrong guy, Tim Perry. Hammonds reaches in to seal it. Another rebound for Hammonds, who had 12 in the game. And the Denver Nuggets were really pushed by Doug Moe's underdog Sixers come in here. 126-122 is the final score. The Nuggets make it 9 in a row at the McNichols Arena floor. And after being pushed like that, the Nuggets may have tonight. Chris Jackson made Doug Moe look good but feel bad.
I'll tell you, that's very true. Chris, 4 of 15 in the first half, 9 of 12 in the second half. Can you remember a game, either professionally or in college, where you struggled so much in the first half and couldn't miss in the second?
There was a game in Tennessee where I did that. I ended up with 2 the first half and ended up with 30-something, I think, for the game. But I thought nothing was going to happen for me the whole game. But Scott kept telling me, well, you have to keep shooting it. Coach said, don't stop shooting it. And I got my confidence back second half, and it came alive.
It looked like in the fourth quarter that you were on a run that even great shooters really have to enjoy. Everything you were shooting was going in.
Yeah, I was just in a rhythm of the fourth quarter. I mean, the second half, and Coach gave me the confidence. He kept telling me to take it, and when he told me that, I was kind of shocked, but it made me feel good that I didn't have too much pressure on me, and I went and took it. And fortunately, they were going in because, like I said, I thought it was going to be a terrible game, but I kept my confidence and things happened for me.
Speaking of the coach, it looked like when you guys were 13 points down and came to the bench after a timeout, that coach kind of looked like a former coach here. Kind of went off on you guys.
Yes, he was very upset. He told us at any time we can lose this game if we don't pick up the pace and start being aggressive on the offensive end and defensive end. Our shot wasn't falling, but he said that's no excuse for not playing defense. So we had to pick it up if we wanted to win this victory.
Final question, where will you guys find any legs for tomorrow night?
I don't know. It's going to be tough, these back-to-back games, but that's the part about being a professional. You have to psych yourself up for these games and get prepared for it. And we're just going to have to go home and get some rest and come back over.
Hey, it's all for you. Go through. Listen to that idiot. You got
Joe, you know what's interesting? Last night at the Rose, will you please tell them the difference between Doug, Carolina and Kentucky, your alma mater, and Dan's alma mater? Would you run that by me again? I missed that joke last night.
I said, in order, first of all, you know, I think in the last 22 years, Dan was the only guy that didn't graduate from the University of Kentucky. It's gospel truth. He's the only guy that hits you in the head with a diploma if you ride down Main Street with the windows down. He's the only guy that never put them down.
Hey, Doug, you know, when we were talking at the this summer, you just got the Philadelphia job, you were more excited about, you said, hey, we can bust to New York, we can bust to Jersey, we can bust to Boston, we can bust to Washington. You were more excited about the road trips and not having to get on an airplane then...
That's right, but now I'm Valium dependent, and it doesn't matter whether we bus or fly. I just take my Valium before we fly.
Hey, Dan, we talked about it right off the top. How much more special was it, and what were your thoughts going into the basketball game, playing against the guy that coached you for so long?
Well, Doug isn't going to let me be serious. He's going to make fun.
Right.
He's going to make fun of this answer. But when I got the schedule, the first thing I looked at was when Philadelphia was coming to Denver. That was the first game I looked at, and so that tells you how special I thought it was tonight.
That's very good, Dan.
I can't believe you didn't interrupt him once.
Oh, I loved it. I just...
Now, do you look in the box scores? Do you see how Denver's doing? Do you check how Denver's
Do I look in the box? I got to tell you the truth. The way we're going, I haven't seen a paper in 2 months. Are you kidding me? I don't look at nothing. I just... Every once in a while, I manage to catch a clip somewhere along the line, but I have to find out a score. The only thing I watch the CNN headline news, is it, where every 20, so I catch the scores and maybe a little shot, and that's it.
It's the latest.
I haven't seen anything.
It's the latest channel to adorn your television set, Dan. CNN. Yes.
CNN.
Headline news, not
news,
just plain CNN.
Yeah, headline news, yes.
Just get it straight.
Well, what do you think about your team?
You can't do this. You can't pull this off. There's no way.
Very good, Dan.
Let me do the interview.
I like my team. I like our team. We just have a few weaknesses.
Like?
Well, we get a little soft in a few positions, and but this game in 8, by the way, you could change the jerseys of the team we're playing. We do this every night. This is like, I know the script. It's like we can get a lead, only we lose at home like this. This is not so bad losing on the road, but we just are too soft at times, and it's basically the problem. You get, when you don't win, you guys struggling on the road, and it's because we have two teams that are too soft. We got to get tougher, and got to grow. Your team's coming along great. I think they're really doing a good job, but they got a long way to go to compete every night on the stuff, and that's what we got. That's why we got to make some moves next year to toughen ourselves up, because we got some ingredients.
Yeah,
and you guys got some good ingredients.
Now, Weatherspoon played tonight.
But what happens, let me tell you what happens, though. You get certain players in there, and, you close your eyes and you say, are we still up? Are we down? And it's not, and that's same with both teams. I mean, it's...
Is it a case, Doug, that things have gone against them so often that even if they have the lead down the stretch, they start wondering how they're going to kick it away this time?
Probably. We go through stretch. We went through the beginning of the year. We were 2-10 at home. Now, I mean, you can pick 5 stiffs out here, right? You guys, you go 2-10 at home. Even you meaning the little stiff here. We can be 2-10. Hey, how do you like his chair? The man brings me in here and puts me on a little chair so he makes him look bigger.
Look at this. Kenny, do the wide shot again.
What was the
do the wide shot. Look at.
Hey, Drew, how you doing? Everything all right?
Doug is 6'6". I'm 6'9". This man here is 4'11". He is 4'11". Look at this.
Joe, what's the first line I said to you today? I said, Doug, have I grown now? You go, no, I shrunk. That's great. Hey, by the way, I have a couple of questions. First of all, so subdued tonight. I didn't realize. I thought you were Dick
been
Motter.
like that. Hey, you don't beat a dead horse, guys. I mean, let's face it.
I've seen you do
we're
that.
We're struggling. No, and we've always been competitive and in the hunt to get somewhere in the playoffs. And this is a different situation. We started off 2-10 at home. I had to back off, so I don't get on them at all, and you just have to, what we're trying to do is get enough players that we can build a nucleus around so we can improve next year. We got to look beyond this year, because we lost 14 games at home. We ain't going nowhere.
Doug, there's another question that begs to be asked.
This is going to be a lousy question.
Well, of course it is. Most of my questions are lousy, exactly. We have.
Can't you tell us, Dan?
You moved to Philadelphia. You moved to Philadelphia. He's trying to blow you. You moved to Philadelphia. What happened? Who's the guy on the left and the guy on the right? You went to Gentleman Quarterly calling you lately?
I like the guy on the left better.
Yeah. You never pulled your tie down once this evening.
But I've seen you in this the one on the left. I've seen you dressed like that this year.
Yeah, I do that every once in a while.
What happened to the clip-on ties? Big Jane throw those away? He's completely
the man's a
ignoring me.
comedian.
Dan, you're going to have to take over. Dan, you put together a list for tonight, I believe, on Doug's vocabulary.
Yeah. We have 5 of the most used words and phrases that Doug has, and later on we're going to go over that and then explain the vocabulary to everybody. Right. By the way, if you're not getting on your team, you should have been in our locker room at halftime. I gave my best Doug Moe impersonation at halftime.
How many? Because Schreiber counts the. Did you?
Listen,
how many of a certain word did you get at halftime?
No, that is a record. As long as this building is standing, that's a record that will never be broken.
That's true. But that's. I'm tired, gang. I'm tired. You know what? I'm tired of sitting here talking to you. Is this show going on much longer?
I have one more question. When you first, I wish I could have been a fly on the wall the first time you talked to Manute about shot selection. He did get a three-pointer off tonight.
He got a three-pointer off. He played his best game, the first game we played. We were 5-15. We were playing awful. And Andrew Lang had been hurt, and then he was too hurt to play, so we couldn't play him in Chicago. He starts in Chicago. We beat Chicago in Chicago, and that's the only run we had. We played really good for about 15 games. But his line was 0 for 0 shooting. Says best game he ever had. And since then we started playing good. And then he started picking up a shot here, a shot there, 1 or 2 more, and we started going down. He just, our centers are not what you call dynamic scoring machines. But
you mean like you had here in Denver?
Hey, you got to sacrifice something. When I was here in Denver, we sacrificed defense. Now we got to sacrifice offense.
Doug, it is always a distinct pleasure, and I know you're starting
kiss
to say
off.
that.
That's one of the vocabulary
That's
words.
right. Stiff is another. What else we got?
Well, we got
to leave out.
We're doing 2 of the top 5, of course.
Hey, listen.
Nice napkins you got here.
Thanks.
Did you get the expensive stuff on this show?
Best of luck.
We normally do with other guests. Go ahead.
Best of luck the rest of the year.
Well, thank you.
Except for the one time that
Are you trying to prod me into
Well, I know you've got no.
Good luck after this.
No. I know you've got a flight to Dallas tonight, and Dallas has won 4 games.
You know what? Let me tell you something. Can you bet? Can you see them sitting back there tonight licking their chops? We got a chance. We're playing the Sixers.
Doug,
oh, jeez.
Good to see you. Take care. You get to get to sleep in your bed.
Sorry, Drew. I wish I could say the same thing. Good seeing you, Dan. Hey, and good luck, Dan. You're doing great. Great job.
Break. Let's get at it. We'll come on back on the other side with the vocabulary words. That after this.
I got to catch a plane.
Tonight wasn't a very good effort, but played much better in the second half. Hopefully we can get to double figures tomorrow night.
Yeah, and very briefly, you go 1 of 2 on the road. You win in Seattle. Nobody in Seattle had only lost twice up there. You probably didn't play your best basketball game by a long shot, yet you managed to win, and you're competitive against Los Angeles the next night.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound like, I want my cake and eat it too, but if we had just shot the ball a little better in L.A., we would have won that game. We got 24 offensive rebounds, shows great effort. But we couldn't throw the ball in the basket, only shooting 40%. And I thought we were going to have the same type of night tonight the way we started, but we shot 45 for the game, which means we had to be above 50% in the second half.
Yeah. Before we completely forget Doug Moe, and we'll do that, erase that memory very quickly, but your top 5, we're a departure from your normal travel tip, Dan, is that right?
That's right. Of course, last week we went over the top 5 room service, and this is the top 5 Moisms. Of course, everybody knows stiff. Now, that you fall in that category.
Thank you.
That's almost everybody. You're not totally incompetent, but you're very, very close. Number 4 is kiss off, and I think we all know what that means. We heard him use it when he was walking out. So whenever he gets tired or he doesn't want to continue a conversation, it's kiss off.
What does this mean? I've had 2 directed at me already tonight in 5 minutes.
At least he didn't call you a no-hoper. Now, a no-hoper is worse than a stiff. A stiff has a little bit of a shot. A no-hoper has none. And the 4th one that we came up with, and that is Fat Little Hog. Now this goes back. This goes back to Rob Williams, who was our #1 draft pick, about 6'4" guard out of Houston, and came to training camp weighing about 250 pounds. And so he was the original Fat Little Hog. But from then on, anybody who came to training camp overweight was a fat little hog. And the #1 Moism, I think we all know what that is. But I think Doug has settled down. I agree with you. I think his contract right now is for so many years, and it's for so much money that Doug doesn't care anymore.
Yeah. Perhaps you're right. Doug wouldn't disagree with that. Now, we have not mentioned this, but in all seriousness, congratulations. Terrific news earlier this week, and I know you're humble and don't like this sort of thing, but Dan Issel, now a member of the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame, and over 27,000 points, top 5 all-time in terms of scoring in not only his ABA career and his NBA career, and of course, Dan teammate, they're not teammates, but his teammates know about it, but the players on his team all remember Dan quite well, and we asked him about some of their memories earlier this afternoon.
Really, not too much. It's just that, you know, I know that he was a good player through my father. My father told me he was a great player when he was back in the ABA. My father's a big sports fan. He used to watch them when they used to come to town.
Man, that's kind of long ago.
I don't remember too much, but I'm thinking, was he the? I think he was he the first guy that touched the rim or something like that? Yeah, when he was in the league. I don't know. It's been so long ago. I can't recall.
I think he got drafted by Minneapolis.
Wasn't that George Mikan?
Yeah, I think he played with Cousy and all those old guys. Yeah.
Didn't they have the belt on their shorts back then?
Yeah, I think they was long pants, and long shirts. I think so.
Man, that's kind of long ago.
The Larry Bird before there was Larry Bird is exactly what Dan Issel was.
Man, that's kind of long ago.
I remember the first time I had to play against him in an NBA game, he scared the hell out of me. I swear to God, I went and saw some Dracula movie, Bela Lugosi or something. The next day, I'm playing against Dan Issel. He has no front teeth and these 2 fangs that hang down. I swear to God, an inch and a half. So my first recollection of actually ever playing with him was, if he bites me, I'm dead. Or I'm one of the unholy is what I am. And the biggest fear is that there'd be a scramble, big pile. He'd bite me in the neck, and I'd be one of the unholy. And that was my biggest fear.
After those comments, perhaps Scott Hastings will not see any more floor time this year.
Did he play tonight? Yeah. He had 3 minutes tonight. He won't get that many tomorrow night.
As we leave you momentarily, we'll check our Pontiac scoreboard. Plenty of action on this Friday night. Pretty easy. What college did Dan Issel play for and attend, and evidently not receive his diploma? No, I know that.
I had my windows.
You did have your windows down. Okay. And who coached the horse? If you think you know the answer to tonight's trivia question, send in a postcard with your name, address, and telephone number to Trivia Contest, Prime Sports Network, 44 Cook Street, Suite 600, Denver, Colorado, 80206. If we draw your name and you answer correctly, you'll win 2 tickets to an upcoming Nuggets game, plus a PSN T-shirt and hat. You wouldn't want to miss all of that. All postcards will be entered into a grand prize drawing for a trip for 2 to San Antonio when the Nuggets take on the Spurs later this year. And welcome back to the Dan Issel Show. One more serious moment. When you first heard, when you got the call early in the morning, what was your initial reaction?
Well, first of all, I was totally shocked, and I'll tell you why. Last Saturday night, we played Dallas, and Bill Walton does some color for the Dallas TV, and he had called Earl Strong and said, I'm staying in New York for the Hall of Fame press conference. And could you do the Denver-Dallas game for me? So I thought, well, they've already called the people who have made the Hall of Fame. Walton is not coming to Denver on Saturday night. He's staying in New York for the press conference on Tuesday. And so I thought that I hadn't made it. So I was honestly shocked when I got the call. And come to find out, Walton didn't get the call till Monday morning either. He was just anticipating.
Oh, he was assuming.
He was anticipating his selection. And then, of course, after I got over the shock of it, just elation. I mean, that's...
Then you got sick to your stomach later that night.
I mean, that's pretty select company.
Yeah, that's a terrific, obviously, honor. But I know it was even more special to you that Julius Erving goes in with you, Dr. J, and some of your ABA brethren, if you will.
Yeah, I look at it as a victory for the ABA. We're finally starting to get some recognition after 17 years.
And coming up tomorrow night, you have Washington, Michael Adams. You know, push the basketball. What has to happen there?
And they're playing well. Washington has won in Houston and Dallas. They played San Antonio tough. Same story. If we're not ready to play, we'll be in for a long evening tomorrow night. I understand that it's close to a sellout, so it'll be another fun night here at McNichols.
Very quickly, you go to Florida before the All-Star break. Shaquille?
Well, we got to play Miami first, but our first run-in was Shaquille O'Neal and Orlando, and they're playing great right now, and then the All-Star break.
All right. Hey, Dan, enjoyed it. As always, great victory tonight. 9 in a row at home. Things are looking up.
Thanks, Drew.
All right. 126-122, the final. We have to thank the biggest stiff of them all, Doug Moe, for joining us also. That'll do it for the